Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I can't help but laugh every time I hear myself say 3:30. I'm like, what am I doing up at this hour? I laugh every time I say that. Okay, I've came across a story this morning, and I am a sucker for somebody that's succeeding in recovery, and I had to talk about this story as I'm going through all the different news articles this morning, and I start reading the story about Jessica Simpson, celebrating her 60. She just celebrated a 6-year anniversary of being clean and sober, and there's, besides the fact that it's just a week after my clean date of October 23rd, I start reading the stuff she says, the stuff she talks about in this article. The article will be right down below. And I was like, I have to talk about this because I see, there's times when I come on here and I express doubt about, this isn't about Jessica Simpson, but about other times I've come on here and expressed doubt about some other people being clean. I don't come out and say I think they're still doing this or that, but there's just something that doesn't click with me. And when I see a story like this and I start reading it and I see quotes from people, like quotes like Jessica Simpson, and I see the same words and this expressing the same exact feelings. That's when I talk. I've talked about this 100 times. Back when I was using, I thought I was so different. I thought I was completely different. I'm not like those other people. I've got more willpower. I can control this. I'm a big guy. I need so much more of this. I could handle it. I'm smarter. This and that. And I really used to tell myself. I really believed that with all my addiction. I believed it. And once I got into recovery, and I sat in these rooms in AA and NA, and I listened to each person talk, I was just amazed, and I was overjoyed, really, about how much we are all so much alike. It's just the same. It creates. I've said this before. It creates like a fellowship, a kinship, and there's just certain words and phrases that stick out, like I said in this article, where I'm just like, wow, I know that feeling. I get goosebumps, man. And I'm so happy for that person. No matter if no matter if it's a sports figure or somebody I don't know or whatever, I'm just so excited because I remember feeling that. How I still feel, and I'm so excited because it's such a hard mountain to climb. It's like getting to the top of the mountain. Not only getting to the top of the mountain, but staying on top of the mountain is probably the hardest part. And I get so excited for these. You can see I get so excited for these people. Not only that, now on this thumbnail, I already created the thumbnail for this video, and the thing that really struck me is in this article, Jessica Simpson. She posted a picture on her Instagram account. I'll have the link down below. I could not find this picture. I went on her Instagram account. I followed her, which I wasn't following her before, and I followed her. And I went through all the pictures, and I can't find this one picture. Maybe you guys can. So I posted this picture. She had a picture from 6 years ago, November 1st, 2017. Almost 6 years and 7 days, 8 days, whatever. And she posted a picture of herself just before she got clean and sober. And I put that picture up, and then I found a picture of me back when I was using, and I put that picture up. And then I looked at the two, and besides her, she's obviously a blonde woman. I'm a brunette guy, but I looked at our faces. Besides the fact that we're both bloated. But our expressions and our eyes and everything, and I'm just like, oh my God, I swear, when I tell you guys I get goosebumps, I swear it's the truth. It really, I swear to God, it is. And you could see the unhappiness, I don't know what else to say, the lack of a soul. I mean this with all my heart when I say, I got my soul back. Okay, so the article is down below. Like I said, I came across this article. She wrote a 2020 book. Now, 2020, I was trying to understand this. She wrote this book back in 2020, but she's just celebrating her 6 years clean and sober. So, okay, so I get it now. And there's some quotes. She talked about being clean and sober. I wrote down some of the words. She said how she was unrecognizable in this picture. She used that word. I wrote down the words, unrecognizable. And if you look at that picture of me and look at me now, Would you even, I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time judging myself, but I don't know if you'd even be able to tell that if that was me or not. And then in this article, she says she hid from her family. She says she couldn't even get her kids dressed for Halloween. She waited until they left the house, and then she started to drink. And I know that feeling. I remember that. I remember, and, and it killed me inside, because like I remember I told you guys, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get clean is because I missed so much time with my family. And I knew like my mother and my family was getting older, in their 60s and their 70s, and I was determined to get clean and sober and actually spend time with them and see, before it was too late. And every week, pretty much every week now, me and my mother I take my mother out to Dunkin' Donuts. We sit down for hours. People come, people go, people come, people go in Dunkin' Donuts, and we're still sitting there talking and talking and talking, just nonstop. And as soon when I make these dates to go with my mom to sit down for breakfast, and I start thinking, what are we going to talk about? I just talked to her yesterday. And as soon as we sit down, for 2 hours, it's just nonstop talking. Like talking about the past, talking about the future, talking about this and that. And I hear that smile. I hear that laughter in her voice. And I see that smile on her face. And there's nothing better in the world, being clean and sober, than being able to sit down and share that time with my sister too, all my family. Back when I was using, I would use one whenever I had money. Basically, that's how it worked. Whenever I had money, I would spend all of it. I would be up all night into the next morning, and then I would recover. I would take something else, and I would hide. I remembered feeling so antisocial. Like I did not want to see. I would cancel everything. I wouldn't show up for work. I would lock the doors. I'd lay in bed. I'd put a pillow over my head. I'd go into withdrawals. And I would just hide from the world. So one day I would use, one day I would be in this lockdown state. Then the next day I would bounce back and use again. So it was just going back and forth from highs and lows, where I was never myself. I was up here or I was way down here, but I was never me. So my family really never saw the real me. And I canceled. I remember not showing up for Christmases. I remember there's Christmases I couldn't even remember because I passed out on the floor. I literally was unconscious for a few Christmases. And my family all remembers this now. That's why they are just so grateful. They're so happy that I am clean and sober. Okay, she says this too. She says she took back her light. And I actually did a painting about that. You guys have seen this already. But I did this painting. And the whole point of this is, coming out of the darkness of addiction and reaching out into the light of recovery. And this is just an idea that I got in my mind. Just a picture, just an idea. I'm especially proud of that wood. That it's supposed to be like a wood floor. I'm pretty good at painting wood. Anyway, all right, and I have this other painting here. I don't think I ever showed this to you guys. And if you look at the eyes of that, I called this heroin. That's the name of this. That is, if heroin were a person, that's what it would look like to me. I made the lips blue to represent overdose, because that's what happens when you OD. I would know. You turn blue, especially your lips. The blue lips and no soul. No soul at all. No soul in those eyes. That's scary, man. It scares me just looking at that still. There's the goosebumps again. I'm not kidding when I say that. Okay, she says she had piercing clarity when she got clean and sober. How many times have I said to you guys, I had a moment of clarity? It's just this one moment when all of a sudden it hits you. I could do this. When I started going to the methadone clinic, after about 2 weeks, I was still going and buying. Even though the methadone was blocking everything, I would still go every day. After I went to the methadone clinic, I'd go down into the hood, get a half bun, spend $35, and it would do nothing. And I did that for like 2 or 3 weeks, just because, there's no, I'd risk getting arrested. I'd commit a felony every day. It didn't work because the methadone was blocking. It blocked all that. And I knew that, and I still couldn't stop doing it. that just tells you, I was doing something that was pointless and dangerous, and I still couldn't stop doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I just had this moment, like all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like all of a sudden your eyes clear, and it's like, oh my God, this is within reach. I could do this. I swear to God, man, I'm not kidding when I say I get goosebumps. You guys are probably tired of hearing that. It says how she was exhausted. And that's how I felt, man. When I told you guys, when I woke up every morning, instead of waking up from a nightmare and going, oh, thank God, that was just a nightmare. You know how you wake up sometimes and you had a nightmare, and all of a sudden you realize, you see your room and you're like, oh, that was just a dream. And you're so relieved. It was the opposite with me. I swear to God, every morning I would wake up and I'd look around and I'd be like, it's like I was waking up into a nightmare every day. All of a sudden it would hit me. It's like, oh no, I got to do this again today. It was like that whole Groundhog Day thing, like waking up into a nightmare. I swear to God, that's how I felt every morning. I wanted to stop waking up, because I just did not want to do this for another day. That's why when you'll hear me say the word partying, I don't like to use that word. Because, maybe at the very beginning, I had this idea that's what this was going to be when I started messing around with this stuff. But believe me, by the end, not even by the end, just once I got caught up in a few weeks of these different substances, it was no freaking party. It was a nightmare. It was just a way of existence that I couldn't get back out of. Again, that song from Pink Floyd, There's No Way Out of Here. That song always pops in my head. There's no way out of here. When you come in, you're in for good. But there is hope. Recovery is possible. All right. I know I sound like such a preacher. All right. She said it was a badge of honor, her suffering. And I remember feeling like that. I remember actually bragging. I have a hard time remembering this feeling. But I remember almost being proud of what I was doing to myself, how I was destroying myself, like I deserved it. And I remember proudly saying that I was a heroin addict, and it would I see the look on people's faces, like a look of fear and disgust or whatever. And there was a part of me that actually, I don't know what to describe it. It was a badge of honor in my own destruction, and now it's the complete opposite. I'm proud of myself and confident in myself. And what other people see when they look at me is what they see. All that matters is that I'm happy with myself and I'm confident in myself. And what people see from the outside is what they see. Some people will like it, some people won't like it, and that's just fine, and that's just the way it is. But as long as I like me, as long as I am comfortable with me, that's all that really matters. Okay. She said the drinking wasn't the issue. I didn't love myself. And then she says I was free after she got in recovery. I mean, that's just, I couldn't have said it. That those are my words. Those are exactly like I said. When I went through this article and I saw these different phrases and the picture of her, and then once I put that picture next to my picture for this thumbnail, and I mean just the look inside, the lack of a soul, the sadness in both of our faces. If you look at the picture, it just blew me away. I didn't even realize it until I put the two pictures together for this thumbnail. All right, one last thing. Let's see. Oh, I'm running long. The next video, I want to tell you guys one of the biggest things that helped me in recovery, and that was distancing myself from every single person I ever used with. And it was hard. And it wasn't because they were bad people. It was because they were triggers for me. And they're still out of my life. Even if they're clean now, I still just, I might say hi to them on Facebook or whatever, but I do not associate with any of the people, any of them. If I used with them once, they're not in my life, and they can't be. And it's a hard thing to do, but recovery isn't easy. And I've made new friends and I have my family back, and I've moved on. And hopefully the people that I used to call my friends will understand. If they're clean, hopefully they'll understand. What I have to do, why I have to keep them out of my life. It's not because they're bad people or anything. It's because the way I feel when I'm with them. It's just something I'm not with. I don't want to risk. I just, no friendship is worth losing myself again. All right, that's the video for today. I'll be back later with another video. I still got more I want to talk about. I know I say that every day. Have a good Saturday.